Grand Rising, and welcome to another segment of CLG Viewpoint, segment 22. I am Cindy Lorraine Grace, and I am so honored and blessed to have you here today. It is Tuesday, February the 18th, 2025. Well, today's segment, we will cover what is alkaline. And I have two videos on that. Thai-Myamar Border Crack Down on Scam Center. City of Toronto sends cease and desist to tiny homes organization. And seniors wait months for main heat source to be fixed in Nanaimo Apartments. And today's inspirational soul of light is Dr. Sebi. I start each segment with a sage clearing. Sage clearing is to clear all the negative entities, to send them back. And we start each segment with positive energy of love and light. To all low energy entities, you are healed, forgiven, and sent back to your perfect place by my spiritual guides. And so it is. Now we're in peace. Only divine light and divine love is here. And so it is. Well, today on Health Sense, Dr. Sebi lived on this planet from November 26 to 1933 to August 6, 2016. There's a lot of controversy around this amazing man, but what he says about healthy eating makes so much sense to me. Each person has their own choice. Yes, their own choice to choose what to eat. But for me, I do support an alkaline eating regime. It does work for me. As Dr. Sebi says, alkalinity complements everybody, whether you're black, white, Chinese, or Eskimo, he said, on November 26, 1933. So the first video I'm going to show you will be Dr. Sebi's daughter. A short video on explaining the alkaline
diet. Could you please explain to the listeners why it's beneficial?
When you think about an alkaline diet, you have two things here. You have acid and alkaline. Acid means that you are at a state of living that's below standard for healing in the body. An alkaline diet is above 7.0, which disease cannot live in an alkaline environment, which you're more balanced and your body is running to where it is being able to cleanse, nourish, and rebuild and keep that immune system up to where disease cannot live because of what you're fueling it with. Right. So we want to find those vegetables and fruits that are higher on that alkalinity level. Those royal ancient grains that he's talking about, like kamut, like amaranth, like quinoa. We want to find those that heal. So in that way, we're able to do that job every day. We think clearer. We're much better. We're more efficient. We're more effective.
I just heard.
Now, the second video explains what kind of foods are alkaline. Here we go. Here's a little bit of an idea what alkaline foods are and acidity foods. And as the daughter of Dr. Sebi was saying, the alkaline foods brings more oxygen into your body and you become more healthier that way. Fights infections and things like that. Your body has that chance to fight those infections because it's in an alkaline state. Now we're on to Associated Press, February 17th, 2025. A top Chinese official tours Thai-Myamar border to highlight crackdown on scam center, Bangkok. Efforts to shut down online scam centers in Myanmar appeared to gain momentum on Monday as a top Chinese security official visited both sides of the Thai-Myamar border ahead of expected large-scale repatriations of workers in the illicit industry. The visit by Louis Zhongyi, China's Vice Minister of Public Security and Commissioner of the Criminal Investigation Bureau, was part of a stepped-up effort by the three countries to address the online scam problem. Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister Pathum Wachakchai, I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, told reporters areas of Myanmar bordering Thailand have been serving as havens for criminal syndicates, employing an estimated hundreds of thousands of people from Southeast Asia and elsewhere who help carry out online scams, including false romantic ploys, bogus investment pitches, and illegal gambling schemes. Such scams have cost victims around the world tens of billions, that's billions of dollars, while the people recruited to carry them out have often been tricked in taking the jobs under false pretenses and find themselves trapped in virtual slavery. Last week, some 260 people from 20 nations, including many from Africa, crossed from Myanmar into Thailand after they were reportedly rescued from scam centers. Thailand and China coordinated crackdown on the scam centers. On a visit to China in early February, Thai's prime minister vowed, along with China's leader Xi Jinping, to crack down on the scam networks. Just ahead of her visit, Thailand cut off electricity, internet, and gas supplies to several areas in Myanmar along the border, citing national security and severe damage that Thailand has suffered from scam operations. The repatriations of foreign workers from Myanmar have been organized by the Border Guard Force in Myawaddy, a militia of the Karen ethnic minority that exercises control over the area. However, critics have accused it of being involved in the criminal activities, at least to the extent of providing protection to the scam centers. The group's leader, Sa Shi Thu, denied in a news conference on Monday that his group was involved in scam activities, but acknowledged business links to some properties hosting the centers, which he said initially operated simply as resorts. Thai media reported last week that Thailand's Department of Special Investigations was considering seeking arrest warrants of Shi Thu and others for alleged human trafficking. Thousands of workers employed by scam networks. Thai officials have said as many as 7,000 to 10,000 more people may be repatriated. By Phun Tham, cautioned that Thailand would only receive those that are received to be taken back right away by their home countries. The Bangkok Post newspaper reported that an initial batch of about 600 Chinese nationals from scam centers are expected to be flown back to China on chartered flights when Louis concludes his visit. Louis visited the bordered areas in Thailand's Tak province on Monday and appeared in Myawaddy in Myanmar, apparently at a location where hundreds of people believed to have been rounded up from several scam centers are being held awaiting repatriation. Quote, China is actively conducting bilateral and multilateral cooperation with Thailand. Myanmar and other countries taking comprehensive measures to address both the symptoms and root causes and working together to block criminals from committing crimes in relevant countries, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson said in Beijing. Quote, This is part of our joint efforts to eradicate the scourge of online gambling and telecom fraud, and to maintain the safety of people's lives and property, and the order of exchanges and cooperation among regional countries. Close quote. Dramatic stories of Chinese people being lured to work in Thailand only to be trafficked into scam compound in Myanmar spread widely on social media in China, causing alarm and denting Thailand's reputation as a safe destination for Chinese visitors. Among those trapped was Chinese actor Wang Ying, who arrived in Thailand on a promise of getting a job and was abducted to Myanmar. He was quickly rescued after the incident circulated on social media. An earlier crackdown on scam centers in Myanmar was initiated in late 2023 after China expressed embarrassment and concern over illegal casinos and scam operations along its border in Myanmar's northern Shan state. Ethnic guerrilla groups with close ties to Beijing shut down many operations, and estimated 45,000 Chinese nationals suspected of involvement. Personal thoughts. Could this be a worldwide cleanup of all corruption under natural law? Now on to local news. City of Toronto sends cease and desist to tiny homes organization. Written by Sarah Pett, CBC News, RCI. The City of Toronto has sent a cease and desist letter to Tiny Homes, a nonprofit organization that builds micro shelters for unhoused communities, CBC said. Cease and desist letter says shelters violate municipal code. The City of Toronto sent a cease and desist letter to a man who's built several tiny mobile homes, giving temporary shelter to those experiencing homelessness. And I have a video on that.
In the woods at the edge of the city.
So this is my home.
Bro, where's your tent?
This is the tent.
Now he's part of a community lending a helping hand at St. James Park, where a tiny village of tiny homes has sprung up.
Tiny Homes is all funded through private donations. We don't yet access grants or any money from the government.
5 units line the northwest corner of the park. The first was given away in November.
Oh, it's so nice and clean.
And they've transformed the lives of the people who live in them.
This is my tiny home.
Oh my God.
This is my kitchen.
The first thing I noticed when you open the door is the heat pumping out of here. Brett Blake moved into the middle unit 3 weeks ago. He was found sleeping in a shop doorway.
Right here. Also, I have throat cancer, so it gives me a place to be able to come and be warm, and because the cold's really hard on my throat with the cancer and stuff too.
So your health has improved.
Oh, yes, definitely. It gives you a peace of mind. You know, you're not wondering where you're going to go lay down at night and go to sleep, or you have somewhere to go. It might be called a tiny home, but it's a home. It's my home. We have running water. We have electrical for the phone and everything.
The homes are meant to be a temporary solution until residents can find permanent housing. Despite all the good the homes are doing for the people living in them, the city wants them gone. Last week it issued a cease and desist, writing the city demands tiny homes immediately cease the installation and supply of these structures and that they be removed from city property.
It's well-intentioned, but that's not the way we function in the city. I mean, people can then be allowed to put a car on the park ground or any structure that they choose. We have bylaws that, we must all abide by, including myself as a local councillor.
The action shocked founder Ryan Donay, who says 2 weeks prior he had met with the city's encampment officials, pitching the idea of moving the unit to an unused piece of city-owned land, leaving the meeting hopeful.
I'm a dog owner. I want my parks back as well, and nobody should be living in the parks. 100% they are within their rights to put a cease and desist. I'm in agreement with that. I'm not in agreement with the language of the cease and desist. We didn't erect these. They're not structures. They're very mobile.
Tiny Homes has responded to the city, noting that in 2023 it declared homelessness an emergency, yet today it is still turning away hundreds of people every night from the shelter system.
We've got something that we can be proud of as citizens of Toronto. And if we're not taking care of our own, what are we doing?
The nonprofit organization has launched an online petition demanding the city collaborate with Tiny Homes instead of pursuing enforcement. It's generated over 10,000 signatures in one day. Tiny Homes has responded to the city by its stated deadline of Valentine's Day. It says it has ceased further construction and is hoping that the city will show them some love. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Personal thoughts. The comment, "We need our parks back." I was just wondering, where did the parks go? And when the mayor mentions that these vulnerable citizens to have a better, more secure place for housing, so what is his action plan? If you don't have an action plan or an interim safe tiny home for the homeless, where do they go? Back on the streets to die? It's cold out there. It is time that the political officials do their due diligence and provide the housing that is required as in place under natural law. The funding is there. Now check news written by Sky Ryan, February 16, 2025. It's really cold. Seniors wait months for main heat source to be fixed in Nanaimo Apartments. Deb Lauder covered herself in blankets in her Nanaimo apartment trying to get warm. The Nanaimo senior, who is still recovering from a stroke, has been living without her apartment's main heat source for months. Quote, "I want somebody to fix it. 2 weeks it's been cold," close quote, said Lauder on Saturday. The 73-year-old rents in Blue Stone, Nanaimo Apartments on Lindley Valley Drive in Nanaimo. And here's the video.
Deb Lauder is using the words she's relearned since suffering a stroke to plead for adequate heat in her Nanaimo apartment.
I want somebody to fix it. 2 weeks has been cold, and I have this and it put it over me.
The 73-year-old rents in Bluestone, Nanaimo on Lindley Valley Drive and has been relying on space heaters borrowed from neighbors since a power outage on November 17th knocked out her apartment's heat pump. She says the small baseboard heater in her bedroom barely warms a few feet, and she shivers without this help from friends.
I would be devastated. I wouldn't know what to do.
That's been sort of the saving grace of all of us loaning heaters to different, because she's not the only one.
84-year-old Lois Thick lives in the same building and hasn't had a working heat pump for 8 months.
It gets really cold. I use my heating pad, and sometimes I stay in my bedroom because of that. I'll make something to eat and then quickly go. Sometimes I put the oven on.
You know, it shouldn't be that way. We pay rent, we pay good rent, and we should get heat. I mean, that's a basic human need.
Each of these seniors is paying close to $2,000 a month for their suites, and they say neither have been offered a break in their rents due to the lack of heat.
It just seems so inadequate, especially for somebody who has circulation problems anyways, that's always cold.
Yes, so mostly I have to stay in my bedroom.
So we reached out to the Vancouver-based manager of First Service Residential, Butler's Home. The no heat was an exaggeration. Boone Sims stating, "Those that report the issue we address. It's not that they're without heat. They do have baseboards in their units. There's one heater component in some of these units that we're replacing."
The baseboard heater is insufficient.
Would you call that sufficient?
No, it only heats the bedroom.
According to neighbors, as many as a dozen heat pumps in this building have gone down. So these seniors hope their months of pleas for help and heat may finally be heard now, with another full month of winter still ahead.
The owner states that the renters who are freezing and cold are exaggerating. Maybe he should live in one of those apartments and check it out himself. walk in somebody else's shoes. How can a person take rent money off of people without making sure that all his renters have the appropriate heat? The heat pump needs to be fixed, plain and simple. The owner is receiving approximately $2,000 per month. Do you think that this is criminal behavior by not providing heat, an essential need, especially in the cold winter months? I am Cindy Lorraine Grace of CLG Viewpoint, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here today with me. I am so honored and blessed. Today's inspirational soul of light is Dr. Sebi and his wonderful quotes on health. Enjoy and have a truly, yes, truly wonderful evening and day, and see you tomorrow, Wednesday, February the 19th, 2025. Enjoy.